For 3,000 years, peace had existed between humans and the Galactic Council. The Council included 17 different alien civilizations from across the stars. Humans lived on many planets across space, but didn't have the same voting rights as other Council members. Admiral Ju Park served as Earth's main representative to the Council. She had worked in this role for 15 years and knew the politics well. One morning, she received an urgent message on her communication device. The Council demanded her presence immediately for an emergency meeting. "This is unusual," Ju said to her assistant as she prepared to leave. "The Council rarely calls emergency sessions." She boarded her small diplomatic ship and traveled to the massive Council station that orbited a neutral star. The journey took 6 hours, even with the fastest engines humans were allowed to use. When Ju arrived, she noticed something strange. The normal guards who greeted her were replaced with heavily armed security forces. Their faces showed no warmth. Instead of being escorted to the usual waiting area, she was immediately taken to the main council chamber. Inside the Grand Hall, representatives from all 17 civilizations sat in their designated areas. Normally, there would be polite greetings and small talk before sessions. Today, silence filled the room. Every alien face turned toward Ju with cold stares. "Admiral Park," said Councillor Varick, the current head of the council. His blue skin seemed darker than usual, his voice hard. "You have been summoned to hear the council's judgment." "Judgment?" Ju asked, confused. "What matter requires judgment? I received no notice of any complaint against Earth." Varick's 4 eyes narrowed. "We have discovered evidence that humans have been developing quantum phase weapons in secret." The chamber filled with angry murmurs. Quantum phase weapons were strictly forbidden by council law. They could tear apart the fabric of space itself. "That's impossible," Ju replied firmly. Earth has followed all technology restrictions for 3,000 years. A large screen appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed images of what appeared to be human facilities with strange equipment. Documents scrolled by, showing plans and formulas. "These were discovered by our intelligence networks," said another council member, a tall, insect-like being named Trezor. "The evidence is clear. Humanity has broken our most sacred laws." Ju studied the images carefully. "These could be faked. I demand time to investigate these claims." "The time for investigation has passed," Varick announced. "We will now vote on the motion to declare a state of war against humanity." Ju's heart raced. "War? There hasn't been a council-declared war in 3,000 years. You can't possibly." "We can, and we will," Varick interrupted. "The vote begins now." One by one, representatives from each civilization registered their votes. Ju watched in horror as the count increased. 10 votes. 12. 15. The final result, unanimous. All 17 council civilizations had voted to declare war on humanity. "This is madness," Ju said, her voice steady despite her shock. "Humanity has been a peaceful member of the galactic community. These accusations are false." "The council has spoken," Varick declared. "You have 6 hours to leave council space before you will be treated as an enemy combatant. The human colonies will be notified of our decision. Military action will begin in 3 standard days." Guards surrounded Ju, escorting her back to her ship. They watched as she boarded, weapons ready. As her ship pulled away from the station, Ju's mind raced. She needed to warn Earth immediately. The Council's combined military might was enormous. Human worlds would be defenseless if attacked without warning. During the journey home, she reviewed the evidence presented against humanity. The more she studied it, the more convinced she became that it had been faked. The technical specifications shown in the documents contained subtle errors that no human scientist would make. The facilities didn't match known human architectural styles. "Someone wants this war to happen," she said to herself. "But who? And why now, after 3,000 years of peace?" Ju sent an encrypted emergency message to Earth's Defense Command, then prepared a more detailed report. She included her analysis of the suspicious evidence. As stars streaked by outside her viewport, she considered the bigger picture. The timing was suspicious. Humanity had recently made breakthroughs in several fields, though all within Council technology restrictions. Their population had expanded to more planets than ever before. Though not the most powerful species, humans had been gaining influence. Perhaps someone saw humanity as a threat, or was there a deeper game being played? When Juhu's ship approached Earth, she saw that defense systems were already being activated. Ships moved into protective formations around the planet. The warning had been received. "Admiral Park," came the voice of General Minsu Choi over the communication system. "We've received your alert. Defense Council is assembled and waiting for your arrival." "I'm coming in now," Juhu replied. "The situation is worse than I could have imagined. We have 3 days before the Council's forces attack." As her ship descended toward Earth, Juhu looked down at her home planet, beautiful and blue. 3,000 years of peace were about to end, but she couldn't shake the feeling that this conflict was engineered by someone or something with a hidden purpose. "I'll find out who's behind this," she promised herself, "and why they want to see humans and the Council destroy each other." Commander Do-Yun Kim stood before Earth's Defense Council in the underground military headquarters beneath New Seoul. The room was quiet as Admiral Juhu Park finished explaining the Galactic Council's declaration of war. 3 days, General Hannah Lee said, breaking the silence. "That's all the time we have before their fleets arrive." Do-Yun stepped forward. "It's time to activate Protocol Omega." The room filled with whispers. Most officials knew the name, but not what it meant. Only a select few were aware of humanity's greatest secret. "Explain for those who don't know," Admiral Park ordered. "For centuries, we've pretended to follow the Council's technology restrictions," Do-Yun said. "But in secret, we've been preparing. Protocol Omega reveals our true strength." He pressed his palm against a scanner. A large holographic display appeared in the center of the room, showing dozens of human colonies across various star systems. "What you're seeing are not just regular colonies," Do-Yun explained. "Many of our mining operations, space stations, and orbital habitats are actually disguised warships and weapons platforms." He tapped a command sequence. The display zoomed in on what appeared to be a large asteroid mining facility near Jupiter. "Watch," he said. On the screen, the mining facility began to change. Outer panels shifted and rotated. Hidden engines emerged. Weapon systems appeared from concealed compartments. Within minutes, what had looked like an industrial complex transformed into a massive battleship. "This is happening right now across human space," Do-Yun said. "We've built over 200 capital ships and thousands of smaller vessels, all hidden in plain sight." The Council members stared in shock. "How was this kept secret?" someone asked. "Need-to-know basis," General Lee answered. "Each generation of leaders passed it to the next. The shipbuilders themselves didn't know what they were truly creating." Admiral Park studied the display. "Will it be enough against the Council's forces?" "We believe so," Do-Yun replied. "The Council thinks our most advanced weapons are 50 years behind theirs. In reality, we're nearly equal." The meeting continued as Do-Yun outlined humanity's defensive capabilities. In orbit around Earth, what had appeared to be weather satellites revealed themselves as energy shield generators. Hidden bases on Mars and Venus activated their weapon systems. After the meeting, Do-Yun received an urgent message from Dr. Minju Kang at the Quantum Research Facility on Luna. "Commander, you need to see this immediately," Minju's message said. Do-Yun took a shuttle to the moon base. The journey took only 30 minutes with the new engines now running at full power without Council restrictions. Dr. Kang met him at the landing pad. Her usually calm face showed excitement and worry. "I've been analyzing the attack plans Admiral Park brought back," she said as they walked through the facility. "Something doesn't add up." In her lab, Minju displayed the Council's planned attack routes on a large screen. "Look at these patterns," she said, highlighting various fleet movements. They make no tactical sense. Council forces are being positioned inefficiently. Maybe they're just poor strategists, Do-hyun suggested. No, Minju shook her head. The Council has some of the best military minds in the galaxy. These patterns aren't random mistakes. They're deliberate. She pulled up another display showing strange code sequences. I found these embedded in the data Admiral Park brought back. It's an algorithm, ancient by the look of it. Someone or something is manipulating the Council's central intelligence network. Do-hyun leaned closer. What kind of algorithm? It's like nothing I've seen before, Minju said. The code structure suggests it's millions of years old. Whatever created it has been waiting for a specific set of conditions. What conditions? I'm not entirely sure, Minju admitted. But I think it's been waiting for humanity and the Council to reach a certain technological level. The timing isn't random. Do-hyun thought about this. You're saying some ancient intelligence wants us to go to war. Why? I don't know yet, Minju said, but look at this pattern. She showed a simulation of how the Council and human fleets would likely engage following current plans. Both sides would suffer massive casualties, but neither would win decisively. It's as if the algorithm wants to weaken both sides without completely destroying either. Like someone softening up their prey, Do-hyun said quietly. Their discussion was interrupted by an alert. Council scout ships had been detected entering the outer solar system 2 days earlier than expected. They're moving faster than we anticipated, Do-hyun said, checking the report. We need to speed up our preparations. As he prepared to return to Earth, Do-hyun looked back at Minju. Keep working on this algorithm. Find out who created it and why. This war might be bigger than just us against the Council. Across human space, the hidden fleet continued to emerge. Ships that had remained disguised for generations revealed their true forms. Weapons that had never been fired were powered up for the first time. From his command ship, now in orbit around Earth, Do-hyun watched the transformation with a mixture of pride and anxiety. Humanity had kept its secrets well, but would their hidden strength be enough? And more importantly, who or what had been manipulating events from the shadows for thousands of years, waiting for this moment to arrive? Whatever you are, Do-hyun whispered to the unknown enemy, we'll be ready for you too. The first battles between human and Council forces were brutal and quick. Both sides were surprised by the intensity of the fighting. Humans revealed their hidden fleet, shocking the Council forces who expected an easy victory. Meanwhile, the Council's advanced weapons caused heavy damage to several human colonies. Captain Ji-Song commanded the human battleship Dauntless in the fight over Proxima Colony. His ship had been hidden for decades inside what appeared to be a large mining facility. Now it revealed its true power, destroying 3 Council vessels in the initial engagement. Enemy forces retreating from Sector 4, reported his tactical officer. Ji-Hoo studied the battle display. Something wasn't right. The Council ships were making strange maneuvers, almost as if they were being forced into poor tactical positions. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. A massive energy signature appeared behind them. Unknown vessel approaching, shouted the sensor operator. It's huge. Before Ji-Hoo could respond, a brilliant beam of energy cut through space, slicing through both human and Council ships alike. The Dauntless shook violently as the beam passed nearby. Evasive action, Ji-Hoo ordered. As the Dauntless turned, Ji-Hoo saw a massive ship unlike any he had ever seen. It had no clear front or back, just a spherical core with extending arms that seemed to phase in and out of reality. The mysterious ship fired again, this time hitting the Dauntless directly. Systems failed across the ship. Ji-Hoo felt the artificial gravity fluctuate as the main power core went offline. All hands, abandon ship, he ordered. Ji-Hoo and some of his crew managed to reach escape pods before the Dauntless broke apart. His pod, damaged in the escape, lost control and crashed onto the surface of a nearby moon. When Ji-Hoo regained consciousness, he found himself alone in the damaged pod. The air was thin but breathable. His communication systems were dead. Through the cracked viewport, he saw a desolate, gray landscape. With no other choice, Ju put on his emergency suit and stepped outside. The small moon had just enough gravity to walk with careful steps. In the distance, he spotted another crash site with smoke rising from it. Jihu made his way slowly across the rocky surface. As he got closer, he realized it wasn't a human escape pod. It was from a council ship. Cautiously approaching, he saw a figure moving around the crashed pod. The alien was tall with reddish skin and 4 arms. Jihu recognized the species, a Thandorian, one of the council's elite warrior races. The alien spotted Jihu and raised a weapon. Jihu raised his hands to show he was unarmed. "I mean no harm," Jihu said, activating his suit's translator. The alien hesitated, then lowered its weapon. "You are human," it said. "I am Fleet Commander Tavik of the Thandorian Empire." "Captain Jihu Song, Earth Defense Force," Jihu replied. "Do you know what happened back there? What was that ship that attacked us?" Tavik shook his head. "Never seen such technology. It targeted both our forces without discrimination." Their conversation was interrupted by a tremor beneath their feet. The ground shifted, revealing a metal surface underneath the moon's dust and rock. "This is no natural moon," Tavik said. Together, the unlikely pair investigated. They found what appeared to be an entrance, a door that slid open as they approached. With no other options and their oxygen supplies limited, they entered. Inside, they discovered ancient corridors lit by a soft blue light that activated as they walked. The architecture was unlike anything either of them had seen. Flowing lines and impossible angles that seemed to bend reality. "This technology," Tavik said, "it matches stories from our oldest legends. The precursors." "We have similar legends," Ju replied. "An ancient race that disappeared millions of years ago." They reached a large chamber with a central platform. When they stepped onto it, holographic displays appeared all around them, showing star maps and strange symbols. Tavik, whose species had more knowledge of ancient languages, began to decipher the information. "This is troubling," he said finally. The displays showed how an algorithm had been planted in both human and council systems, manipulating events to ensure conflict between them. It was designed by the precursors before they disappeared. According to this, Tavik explained, the precursors created automated systems to ensure that when younger species reached a certain technological level, they would be forced into conflict with each other. "But why?" Ju asked. Tavik pointed to another display showing thousands of ships in what appeared to be suspended animation. "To weaken us before these awaken. An automated armada of precursor vessels, programmed to eliminate potential rivals." The final display showed a timer. According to their best understanding, the precursor fleet would fully activate in less than 1 month. "This war between our peoples," Jihu said slowly, "it's just a prelude to a much bigger threat." Tavik nodded. "Neither humans nor the Council can defeat this alone. We would need to fight together. After thousands of years of distrust, after the battles we've just fought." Jihu shook his head. "How can we possibly convince our leaders to join forces?" "We must try," Tavik said, pointing to information about a communication array in another section of the installation. "If we can send a message with this evidence to both our peoples, perhaps they will listen." As they worked to activate the ancient communication system, Jihu and Tavik, enemies just hours before, realized the fate of all their peoples now depended on their ability to overcome centuries of suspicion and unite against an enemy that had been waiting in the darkness for millions of years. Admiral Jihu Park stared at the message from Captain Jihu Song and Fleet Commander Tavik. The information they had discovered on the moon changed everything. If true, both humanity and the Council faced extinction at the hands of an ancient enemy. "We need to contact the Council immediately," Jihu told her staff. "They won't believe us," General Hannah Lee argued. "They'll think it's a trick." "Maybe," Jihu agreed, "but we have to try." She planned a dangerous mission. Using a small diplomatic vessel, she would travel alone to meet with the Council leadership. Her ship would carry no weapons, only the data from the precursor installation. As she prepared to leave, Commander Do-Yem Kim approached her. "This is too risky," he said. "They might just kill you on sight." "I have to try," Ju replied. "If I don't go, billions will die when the precursor fleet awakens." Her journey to the Council headquarters was tense. Twice, Council patrol ships nearly fired on her before she could send her diplomatic codes. Finally, she was permitted to dock, though surrounded by armed guards. The Council chamber felt colder than before. All 17 Council leaders looked at her with suspicion and anger. "You have one chance to explain why we shouldn't execute you as an enemy combatant," said Councillor Varric. Ju stepped forward. "I bring evidence that we have all been manipulated. Our war is exactly what the real enemy wanted." She presented the data from Captain Ju and Commander Tevik. The Council members watched the displays showing the ancient precursor plan. "This is clearly human deception," said Trezor, the insect-like counselor, "a desperate attempt to stop our attacks. If it were a lie, why would I come here alone and unarmed?" Ju asked. "We face extinction if we don't work together." The debate continued for hours. Some counselors seemed willing to consider the evidence, while others dismissed it entirely. No agreement was reached. Ju was escorted to quarters to await their final decision. She felt she had failed. Then, in the middle of the night, alarms sounded throughout the station. Ju rushed to the window and saw bright flashes in space. Guards burst into her room. "Come with us," they ordered. "The Council demands your presence." In the chamber, chaos reigned. Emergency reports flooded in from across Council space. 3 Council worlds under attack, reported a communications officer. "The vessels match the description from the data you brought." "These worlds are far from human space," noted Councillor Varric. "Your people couldn't have orchestrated this." On the main screen, a precursor ship destroyed a Council defense station with frightening ease. Its strange weapons sliced through advanced shields like they weren't there. "You were telling the truth," Varric said to Ju. "We are all targets of this ancient enemy." Within hours, a tentative alliance formed. The Council's war with humanity was put on hold. Instead, they began planning a joint defense against the precursor threat. However, tensions remained high. When the full extent of humanity's secret military buildup was revealed, many Council species felt betrayed. "You maintained weapons in violation of our agreements for thousands of years," accused Trezor during a strategy meeting. "And now those weapons might save us all," Ju countered. "Would you rather face the precursors without them?" Despite the friction, both sides recognized the need to combine their strengths. Human ships were brought to Council shipyards for upgrades. The Council's advanced energy weapons were installed on human vessels. Each side learned from the other's tactical approaches. Dr. Minju Kang worked with Council scientists to understand precursor technology. Their ships exist partially in another dimension, she explained to a joint military briefing. That's why conventional weapons have limited effect. Meanwhile, Captain Ju Song and Fleet Commander Tavik had become unlikely friends. Having survived together on the precursor moon, they now led training exercises for the first joint Human Council battle group. "Human pilots are more creative," Tavik told his Thandorian officers. "We can learn from their unpredictable tactics. Council targeting systems are more precise," Jihu told his human crews. "We need to adapt to their communication protocols." 2 weeks after the alliance formed, the joint fleet faced its first real test. A single precursor dreadnought approached a human colony world. Admiral Ju Park commanded the defense from the Council flagship, with Councillor Varric at her side. The combined fleet moved into position, using strategies developed by both species. The battle was intense. The precursor ship's strange weapons destroyed several Allied vessels in the opening minutes, but the joint fleet adapted quickly. Human ships executed unpredictable maneuvers that confused the precursor targeting systems, while Council vessels provided precision fire support. Target their phase conduits, Ju ordered, based on Dr. Kang's analysis. Council energy beams struck the dreadnought's weak points, while human ships launched specialized disruptor missiles. The precursor vessel's shields failed. Its strange, reality-bending hull began to break apart. When the dreadnought finally exploded, cheers erupted across the communication channels. Human and alien voices joined together. "We've proven it can be done," Ju said to Varric. "Together, we can fight them." Varric nodded slowly. Perhaps there is hope after all. The victory was small compared to the threat they still faced. Thousands of precursor ships were waking up across the galaxy. But for the first time, both humans and Council species felt something they hadn't expected to feel again: hope. The combined fleet of human and Council ships gathered at the edge of the galactic core. Nearly 10,000 vessels formed the largest military force ever assembled in known history. The precursor armada waited for them, dark ships that seemed to bend reality around them. Admiral Ju Park stood on the bridge of the flagship Guardian, which had been rebuilt with both human and Council technology. Around her, crew members from 7 different species worked together at their stations. 3 months of fighting had forged them into a unified team. "Final reports coming in," said Commander Do-Hyun Kim. "All battle groups are in position." Ju nodded. "And the special weapons?" "Dr. Kang reports they're ready," Do-Hyun replied. Dr. Minju Kang had made the crucial discovery. By studying the ancient data from the precursor moon, she had identified the command nodes that controlled the automated precursor fleet. If they could destroy these nodes, the entire enemy armada would shut down. "Open a channel to all ships," Ju ordered. When the communication link was active, she spoke clearly and simply. "This is Admiral Park. Today we fight not as humans or Council members, but as defenders of all life in our galaxy. Each of us comes from different worlds and traditions, but today we stand as one. We will not let the precursors wipe away what we have built. We will not let them decide our future. Today we fight for everything." Across the fleet, ship captains relayed her words to their crews. Captain Ju Song on the cruiser Dauntless Eye shared a look with Fleet Commander Tavik, who now served as his tactical officer. "Ready for one more impossible mission?" Ju asked his friend. Tavik's 4 eyes blinked in the Thandorian expression of determination. "Always, Captain." The battle began with a massive coordinated attack. The Allied fleet split into smaller groups, targeting specific sections of the precursor armada. The strategy was to create openings for special strike teams to reach the command nodes. The Dauntless Eye led one such strike team. With 5 other ships, they pushed deep into enemy formation. 2 of their ships were destroyed almost immediately by the strange precursor weapons. "Keep going," Ju ordered as his ship shook from a near miss. "We're almost within range." Tavik monitored the sensors. "Command node detected. Preparing targeting solution." The remaining strike ships formed a protective circle around the Dauntless Eye as it prepared to fire the special weapon Dr. Kang had developed. It combined human quantum technology with Council energy systems in a way neither could have created alone. "Weapon ready," reported the weapons officer. "Fire," Ju ordered. A brilliant beam of energy shot from the Dauntless Eye, striking the precursor command node. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the node began to pulse with light. "It's working," Tavik said. "The disruption is spreading through their network." Across the battlefield, the other strike teams also hit their targets. One by one, the command nodes were knocked offline. The precursor ships began to drift, their weapons going silent. On the Guardian, Admiral Park watched as the enemy fleet shut down. "All ships target remaining active vessels," she ordered. The combined fleet moved in, destroying any precursor ships that still showed signs of activity. Within hours, it was over. The ancient threat that had waited millions of years to destroy them had been defeated. 3 months later, Ju Park stood in the newly rebuilt council chamber. The room had been redesigned to include seats for all member species, including humans, as equals. "Ambassador Park," said the new council leader, a being from a species that had once been humanity's fiercest opponent in the initial war. "We welcome Earth's permanent representative to the Galactic Council." Ju stepped forward to take her place in the chamber. Around her sat representatives from all 18 civilizations, now united as true allies. After the ceremony, Ju met with Captain Jiu Song and Dr. Minju Kang in a garden overlooking the rebuilt council city. "So, full voting rights at last," Minju said with a smile. "Only took a near-extinction event to get them." Jihu laughed. "And all those centuries of secretly building warships." "Which remind me," Jihu said, "the new shipyards on Mars are requesting your supervision, Captain. We're building exploration vessels now, not warships." "Exploration?" Jihu asked. "To where?" "Beyond our galaxy," Jihu replied. "The new council has voted to fund a joint mission. Ships crewed by all our species, working together to see what's out there." They looked up at the stars visible through the garden's clear dome. The same stars that had almost witnessed their end now promised a new beginning. "It's strange," Minju said softly. "We had 3,000 years of peace, but it wasn't real peace. It was just everyone watching everyone else, waiting for something to go wrong." "And now?" Ju asked. "Now we have something better," Minju replied. "Understanding, respect, trust." On worlds across the galaxy, the scene was repeated. Species that had once viewed each other with suspicion now worked side by side to rebuild what had been destroyed. Human engineers taught council builders their techniques. Council scientists shared technologies previously kept secret. In a school on a distant colony, children from 6 different species played together, learning each other's languages and customs. Their parents had fought in the Great Battle. The children would grow up in the peace that followed. As Ju prepared for her first official council meeting, she thought about how quickly everything had changed. In less than a year, they had gone from the brink of war to a deeper alliance than anyone could have imagined. Sometimes, she said to herself, we need to face our greatest fears to find our greatest strengths. Outside, the stars continued to shine on a galaxy forever changed.